Activity completion and restricting access are used to enable you to control the Moodle course and to enable it to release content based on student activity. Here's a very short section using some of these features. So there's a book here which the students need to read. As soon as they've read each page, a tick will automatically appear in here. So where you see the dotted line around the outside indicates that Moodle's going to add the tick in at the point at which the students completed the work. That's using the activity completion function. Now once the activity completion is turned on for a specific resource, you can then restrict access to something else based on those actions that the students need to complete. So in this particular context, when a student's read this book and Moodle automatically puts a tick inside that box, this link here to some Moodle resources will become free. Now this one's particularly set up so that the student can see why it's restricted, so it's greyed out, they can see it, but they can see that it's not available until an introduction to restricted access and conditional activities is marked complete. So until a tick is in that box to mark it as complete, this resource is not available for the students to click on. So what we're using here is a mixture of activity completion, which is indicating how these boxes are ticked, and restricting access, which is indicating at what point these resources are released. And these are both features that you'll find on the activity setup page. So I'm going to show you that bit now. So on every Moodle activity page you have two sections. You've got restrict access and activity completion. It's important to note that these do need switching on site-wide, so if activity completion isn't set up site-wide then you won't have these options. So if I go into activity completion and restrict access, these are the two areas that control the information. So the first one here under activity completion, this is where you can dictate what activities a student needs to do in order to achieve this particular resource. So in this particular case this is a book, and I've got a couple of options. On all resources you've got do not indicate activity completion, which means there's no little grey box to the right hand side of the resource. Students can manually mark the activity as completed, so a student will put a tick in the box, or show activity as complete when conditions are met, which is when Moodle will put the tick in the box. And depending on the type of activity, the conditions that the students can meet will vary. For this particular activity there's only the option of viewing it. It's a book, all it is reading it, so the only option they've got is students to view the activity. But for things like forums and quizzes, you can say their conditions can be met based on the students have replied to a forum or added a discussion topic, or they, if it's a quiz, have to meet a certain grade. So there's quite a lot of complex things you can do once the students are actually doing work within Moodle. That's how you're saying that this particular resource is complete. And then for another resource where you might want the activity to be set so that it's not released until something else has been done, you'll be using the restrict access functions, which is this box here. So what you'll be doing in most cases, the simplest format is the activity completion condition. So anything that's got activity completion set on it would appear in this drop down list. You can then choose what resource needs to have been looked at, and then you can say under what conditions it's marked as complete. So in most cases it'll be as must be marked complete, but in some cases it could be that they've got to achieve a specific grade in order to achieve that information. And it's also at this point here you can say, do you want the students to see it, so it'll be greyed out, and tell the students what they need to do to achieve it, or you can hide it entirely. So that's a brief overview. You'll see a couple more examples through the other videos that are available within this area, and if you want to learn some of the things to consider and how to use them, then there's a Moodle course link as well.